No One Left Behind is more than a standard we all live up to. It is a way of life. It is part of our mission. If you or someone you know finds themselves struggling with their mental health, please contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988 on your mobile phone or text 838 255 to speak or chat with a qualified counselor. All right. Hello, Run for the Wall family. Welcome to the Run for the Wall podcast. I'm Hitch, and as always, I'm joined with my co-host, Boots. Hey, Boots, how are you
Hey,
doing?
I'm good, but I'm having technical difficulties this morning.
Oh, I'm not a techie. Listen, I cannot go beyond restart it, unplug it, plug it back in.
Yeah, well, my screen is still sharing and I can't seem to get it unshared. Interesting.
Oh.
I got it now. Look at that. All right.
Look at us, problem solving. All right. This episode, we have a special guest, Leo. I have a new road name, Rachmel. You like that? Don't have to wait to find out.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us again. All right.
Thanks for having me again.
Boots pointed out that you are our first repeat guest.
That's true.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I guess we'll get into how/why you're a repeat guest. But for those of you all who are tuning in for the first time to our podcast and you're wondering what Run for the Wall is, we are the largest and longest running and oldest motorcycle run in the US. And we do this in support of veterans, active duty military, those MIA and KIA and POWs. So we're just here to do our part in carrying on the mission and welcoming new people into the mission, right? Because, hey, F&Gs, we need them, and you all are super important to us. So thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, we hope to see you in May. But first up, what do we have for sponsors? Because I feel like every episode you surprise us with like someone new. I'm like, do we have?
You know, I wish I could this episode because it's kind of the same old people. But
No.
you know, if it weren't for the support of so many individuals, and I'm going to even talk about that more today in our customs and traditions, but you know, we can't get this done without a lot of generosity and support from so many people. So first up, we got Fuller Law, Chad Fuller. He's donated legal counsel to Run for the Wall for years and years. So if you or someone you know find themselves in a situation where you do need some legal support, if it's a motorcycle accident or whatever, call the guys at Fuller Law. They know what they're doing. FullerLawForRiders.com or 1-855-FULLERLAW. And they'll help you out. Also, the Greater Ontario Convention and Visitors Bureau, as you know, we start Run for the Wall. The 3 coast-to-coast routes start in Ontario, California, and the Ontario Convention and Visitors Bureau rolls out the red carpet for us every year. We're thankful for their hospitality. And, you know, if you've been watching the podcast, you know that we've got hydration trailers that follow all 4 routes, and they're chock full of electrolytes, and they got some sodas, and they've got water, snacks, all kinds of stuff. And a lot of those products are donated by PepsiCo and also by Coca-Cola. So we're very thankful for their support every year. Keep it coming, guys. We really appreciate it. And, you know, both of those companies have more than just Coke and Pepsi. There's Monster Energy.
Mm-hmm.
There's Dasani water. There's I'm forgetting everything, but they've got all of the electrolyte drinks.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the sugar-free ones. They've got the low sodium ones. They've got the high sodium ones. They got everything. So something for everybody on those hydration trailers. And if you can't find something that you like on the hydration trailer, it probably doesn't exist. So
Yeah, totally.
anyways, yeah. Also, we get a lot of support from AMSOIL. They're the first in synthetics. I think it's the best oil you can buy. I use it in virtually all my vehicles. So you can find a link to AMSOIL on our website at rftw.us or just go to amsoil.com. Also, Climb Riding Gear, another great company. I just, as I mentioned, picked up a new Climb jacket. I'm in California right now. My Climb jacket's back in Arizona. But anyways, actually, I did bring my rain jacket with me, and it's raining today, so I'll probably be wearing it later today. But I'm not going out riding in this weather because I'm looking out my window. It's pretty nasty out. And speaking of riding in nasty weather, Nelson Rig, another Run for the Wall sponsor, also makes all kinds of rain gear and bags and motorcycle stuff. Check them out, and you can get a discount by using the link on the Run for the Wall website. I just picked up something from Nelson Rig. I think they have excellent stuff. I love their products. So please support the companies that support Run for the Wall.
Where on the website can they find the discount codes? Is it on the main page, or do they have to go?
It's on the homepage at
Okay.
rftw.us. If you just scroll down like 1/4 of the way down, there are 3 boxes. There's an AMSOIL box, a Nelson Rig box, and a Climb box. And I'll even call this out. Bruce Bartolomeo, riding his BMW GS, is featured on the Climb little advertisement there.
Aww.
Bruce used to ride with us. He's not riding on Run for the Wall anymore due to some family stuff that he's got going on. But I sure do miss Bruce. He was the APL when I was an FNG. Oh, we speak in these TLGs all the time, 3-letter acronyms. We'll talk about what this all means, but Bruce is a great guy. I really love Bruce, and there's a picture of him and his Climb gear riding there. But these little boxes, there's no real discount code for AMSOIL, but if you just click on the Shop Now button for Nelson Rig and use code RFTW, you will get a 30% discount from Nelson Rig. And then the Climb discount is a little bit different. If you click on that box, it will give you instructions on how to go about getting your Climb discount. They're controlling it a little more tightly.
Okay.
And it's a little more personalized service, which is awesome. But yeah, just click on that box. There's a pop-up that will come up, and it will tell you exactly how to go about getting 30% off Climb gear for Run for the Wall riders.
Awesome. All right. So news and events registration is open because we are now 179 days to kick stands up. And I just really would like to point out that I'm now considered setting a great example because I'm registered. It took me so.
Yeah, what took you so long? Come on.
I'll be honest with you. I just didn't feel like doing it twice because I have to register myself and my daughter, and I was like, I don't feel like doing this, and then I have to go through the minor. So I am registered now. She's registered now. I'm proud of myself. 179 days to kick stands up.
So, speaking of people in leadership who may not have registered yet, can you think of anyone else who may not have registered yet? Mm-hmm. Someone who might be an assistant route coordinator? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, Horton, you know who you are. Get yourself registered. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, there is a change on the departure for 2026.
What do we have?
So the last couple of years, we had the Midway route or route, depending on whether or not you're in Hawaii.
I thought we got this straight last night.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll just knock it off.
When he sent you the Webster Dictionary.
Yeah. Anyways, The Midway route last year and the year before left a day early, and they made their journey an 11-day journey. We've condensed that back so that now all coast-to-coast routes are 10 days, and all 3 routes are leaving on the same day. It's a pretty amazing experience when we got like 1,500 motorcycles idling in Lot D in Ontario. It's really awesome. But all 3 coast to coast routes are leaving on May 13th. That's a Wednesday, 2026. And if you're listening in, come out, support us. It's quite a sight to see all these bikes pull
Now,
out.
with that being said, I don't want anyone to think that any stops or anything is now missing from the Midway experience. Yeah,
Not a
it was
bit.
just, condensed. There's just not that that overnight anymore. And I think so, I'm team Midway this year. Well,
That's
next
right.
year. This next run, I don't know, still 2025. But yes, I'm team
Right.
Midway, so I mean, still nervous, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm very much looking
It's
forward
going to be
to
awesome.
it. It is. It is. I get to make
Yeah.
new friends.
Yeah. And Leo's on Midway,
You
right?
are?
I am. I'll be a road guard on Midway this year.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll take care of you, Hitch.
Aw,
Keep you squared
thank
away.
you.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. So with that being said, all routes leaving at the same time. I know you all are probably anxious to get hotels booked and camping lists and all that. But as we always let you know, those will be out at the beginning of the year. So probably somewhere around January 1st-ish, that information will be released and you all can start booking your hotels.
Yep, that's going to come out January 1st, like you said, and we're working on it right now. In fact, I've got it on my agenda today to work on it. So as soon as we get done recording this podcast, I'm going to be working on hotel
Luke,
lists.
how long is your agenda?
Oh my gosh.
I just imagine one of those scrolls, like they just release
Yeah.
it and then it goes.
Crazy.
Oh,
Hey, busy people get stuff done.
I
That's just a
know.
fact.
I know, right? So
Speaking of busy people,
yes.
volunteer sign up.
Mm-hmm.
We got lots of positions open on all routes. So if you're interested in volunteering and participating in the run and maybe taking a position in leadership, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do.
Yep.
I get a lot of requests because I answer all the email that comes in from the website. People have been asking lately, what does it take to become a road guard? So I'll talk about that on another episode. But, a road guard's not a typical volunteer position. But there are other positions available. Also, to be a road guard, just to briefly talk about it, you need to have done the run all the way, either all the way coast to coast or all the way wall to wall. And then there's some other things involved there too, like some safety classes you got to take and things like that. But I don't want to get off in the weeds there. We'll talk about that on another segment.
But Leo, since we have you here and we're talking about the volunteer sign up for your route, what positions do you still have that you're in need of being filled? Let's talk about that.
We're all the positions we can use some people in. I can tell you my fuel team is just about full right now.
Okay.
Staging is a little bit thin, so I could definitely use stagers, but I think a lot of those people are just kind of waiting until they can actually commit before they get on that team.
Okay. And we're talking about Sandbox Route, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yep, the Sandbox, the 4th route.
Wall to wall.
So Leo, I'm looking at your route, your roster for contacts. What about leadership support? Do you need someone in leadership support, a driver or anything like that?
I'm working on that now. I've got a volunteer. I need to reach out to him, and that may be my leadership support person who's going to also drive the leadership support truck.
Okay.
So, if that doesn't work out, I'll get more information out. I'll reach out to y'all to get that out once I start really nailing down the positions I know I need.
Okay. And I see you got Top Sarge working registration. She's awesome.
Yeah, luckily.
Yeah, no kidding. No better person for that job. Looks you got a few positions open there, but looks like you're pretty well set.
Yeah, we're always looking for road guards, but like you said, that is a specific position. Most of the guards we have come from the 3 cross-country routes.
Okay.
Yep.
So any of those people would be very welcome to come join us if you're riding a cross-country route, and we can talk about that
Yeah,
as
we'll
we
talk
get in
about
the
that
US
later.
section.
Sure.
Sure.
Sounds good. All right, cool.
All right. The Run for the Wall song, which we play at the end of every podcast now, is available for download. You can find that on the website. So I know a lot of you showed interest and sent us emails related to the Run for the Wall song and how could you get it and share it, because I mean it was very beautiful. So I'm glad that everyone saw the value in that and you all are interested, and Boots was able to get that up. That was one of the things on his agenda. So,
Exactly. So that's at rftw.us/song
mhm.
if you want to download that or listen to it, whatever.
Yep.
So also I want to talk about the merchandise store. We got a new merchandise director, Angie Denmother Holterman, who's doing a
Welcome.
crazy good job with merchandise. But I want to remind everybody that Run for the Wall merchandise makes great holiday gifts. So go do a little holiday shopping there at the Run for the Wall merchandise shop and check it out. There's new stuff coming all the time. I know Angie, I talked to her last night in the board meeting.
Mhm.
She said she's got some new shirts that are going to be showing up for maybe in the next couple of weeks, but
Yep.
check it out.
And merchandise is like one of the big ways that we're able to fund Run for the Wall. So, it's really
It is
important
one of
to
the primary
show
sources of income. Yep.
support there. And I would say go ahead and order your merch. That way you don't have to stand in line when we get to Ontario
right.
or at any of the stops. Just
That's right.
click, 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 order, and have it sent to your house. Yeah, that's easier.
Right on.
And then you can go ahead and pack it as a part of what you're taking. Because remember, the F&G tips and Boots always talks about, like, look, when you pack, you have to take some stuff out. It's too much. So if you already have the merch for the year at the house, then you can make that a part of your packing plan versus stuffing your saddlebags for the ride across country.
Right on. All right. So moving on, we got local meetups in a whole bunch of different areas all across the country. Colorado's been a big meetup spot. I've been to that breakfast a few times. Arizona, Mississippi, Northern California, also Washington, D.C. area, Mississippi, all over the place. And I think pretty much all of those are on the event calendar on Run for the Wall and on the forum. So if you head on over to the Run for the Wall forum.rftw.us, or the event calendar, again at rftw.us/events, you can check out for meetups in your area. I know there's quite a few coming up, so check that out.
Okay.
And if you don't have one in your area and you want to start one, let me know. I'll help you get one started.
Yes, absolutely. All right, before we jump into why we ride, we did want to take this time out to acknowledge some of our riders that we've recently lost. Boots, you have that information?
I do. This is really hard because we lost a few in the Run for the Wall family recently, and it's tough. Lenny Big Red Hodson, who was the route coordinator for Southern Route last year, what a great guy, huge person.
Mhm.
He passed away last week. The honor ceremony will be held December 1st at 12:30 at the National Memorial Cemetery of Arizona. There's going to be a gathering also at the Frank Wright American Legion Post 34 in Cave Creek prior to the services. A lot of this information is going to be on the event calendar or on the forum. I know it's going around a lot of the email loops for the Arizona riders, but come on out and honor Big Red. He sure deserved it. What a great guy.
Was.
Really going to miss him.
And his episode of the podcast is still up. So if you all
Yes,
want to
absolutely.
go back and look at that, it's there.
Yep. We also lost Rick Speed Bump Schoaf from Colorado. He passed away on October 16th. He was also a dedicated Run for the Wall rider, Patriot Guard rider, fuel team lead for the Southern Route. And gosh, what a huge loss. He leaves behind wife, children, grandchildren, super passionate about motorcycles, Boy Scouts, model building, all kinds of stuff. It's a big loss. He carried a huge flag here on Run for the Wall as a fuel team lead. So we're going to miss Rick, and man, we'll ride on the other side. We also lost another longtime Run for the Wall rider, Brad Noland, who passed away on August 5th. And some unfortunate circumstances surrounding his death. I don't have a whole lot of information to pass along, but we do want to remember Brad and just the loss that represents to our Run for the Wall family. So rest in peace, guys, and we'll see you on the other side.
All right. Thank you, Boots. Let's go into the why we ride.
Okay, let me share my screen here again. And here we go. So today we remembered Richard Kowalewski. I hope I'm saying that right. And you'll hear more about that in a second. Richard Kowalewski was born March 31st, 1973, and hailed from the great state of Pennsylvania. He joined the Army after graduating high school, and he loved to play chess. He spoke German, and he was a lover of the arts. He was voted most mannerly of his senior class and often read Shakespeare. Above all, he loved his country. He was a quiet, reserved young man, unlike many of his Ranger teammates. He had plans to save money for college, get an electrical engineering degree after the Army, and marry his high school sweetheart, Donna. After enlisting, he graduated basic training and was assigned to the 3rd Battalion, 75th Rangers. Almost immediately, he was given the nickname Alphabet by his teammates because of his long last name, and many Rangers had difficulty pronouncing it. A Ranger commented during PT one morning that we should just call you Alphabet because you have so many damn letters in your name. The nickname stuck. He deployed with Task Force Ranger to Somalia in August 1993. On October 3rd, 1993, PFC Kowalewski was serving with Bravo Company, 3rd Battalion, 75th Ranger Regiment in support of Operation Gothic Serpent. He was involved in the firefight known as the Battle of Mogadishu. Kowalewski was driving when his vehicle was struck by an RPG, which exploded the cab of his vehicle. He continued to drive and seek cover when a second RPG struck the side of his body, killing him instantly. Kowalewski rests eternally in Arlington National Cemetery. It is not the worst thing to die in war. It is not the worst thing to be missing in war. The worst thing is to be forgotten in war. Say their names, tell their stories, never forget. Private First Class Richard Alphabet Kowalewski, you are not forgotten. Your memory and sacrifice on behalf of our beloved country lives on in our thoughts and in our hearts. You will always be remembered whenever we stand and sing the words, Land of the Free and Home of the Brave.
Thank you, Boots. Alrighty, that brings us to our customs and traditions. And today we're going to talk about rider support and how a lot of that focus is on the rider, but there are far more people supporting the mission than just the riders. And I know we talk about that a lot when we go over our sponsors and the people who help support the run.
Yeah,
but do people really understand all the players who come?
I was talking to my wife Kelly about this, and we were talking about how many people are behind each rider
Mm-hmm.
who goes out there. So there's a spouse, there are children, maybe grandchildren, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, friends, a community. Um, if you're in like a club, like a Kiwanis
Mm-hmm.
Rotary, sometimes there's the whole club that's watching you and waiting to hear about your journeys and what's going on. So
Your job if
there's
you're not retired.
yeah, exactly. Employers, cities and towns. There's so many people that support individual riders, not to mention when we go into these towns and cities and we get support from local law enforcement, from churches, in the form of meals and hospitality. And it is a custom and tradition for us, Run for the Wall riders. We don't just blow into these towns and blow right out. We come in, we take the time to meet the people who have come out to support us.
Right.
And that's a huge part of Run for the Wall is not only for us to meet them, but for let them meet us and know that it's not just some leather clad dude on a motorcycle, that we're people just like them, and we're from all walks of life, and we travel. Some of us travel from the East Coast to the West Coast and back.
Overseas.
Overseas. We got international riders, but it's really a custom and tradition for us to get to know the people who are supporting us and let them get to know us. And that's a great part of Run for the Wall. And it's interesting because there are some gas station stops where we pull in and I see the same person every single year and they remember us. Mm-hmm. And even, in Arizona, where I spend most of my time, my primary home that is there, oftentimes I'll wear a Run for the Wall shirt or a hat, and I'll go in, like I'll stop in Winslow or in Kingman. Those are two of the stops on Central Route for Run for the Wall. And if I go into that one particular gas stop in Kingman wearing my Run for the Wall hat, almost everybody who works there says, "Oh, Run for the Wall, you guys come through here in May," and they remember us. It's a really cool thing. Same thing in Winslow. So it's not just like we're blowing in and blowing out of these towns. We're making friendships and relationships and leaving an impression on these communities. So,
and like, just to piggyback off of that, for whether you've been on the run before or this will be your first time coming on the run, we want you to take into consideration all that these communities pour into us, and encourage each of you to take the time to actually connect with the members of these communities. And I know you're like, look, we just stopped to have to use the bathroom, or I'm thirsty, or I'm tired, or just, I need to make a phone call. And especially like those dinner stops at the end of our day, a lot of work goes into that. A lot of times, I mean, not only have they prepared for all year, but months, weeks, days, and all day setting up, awaiting our arrival. And sometimes, depending on weather or what have you, or traffic, we may not even show up on time, like keeping it real.
that's true.
What stop did you all hunker down at for hours last year?
Bunker Hill. And then we were 4-6 hours late getting into Junction City.
Can you imagine? They've been preparing all day, but they know hundreds of people are coming. So they stay there. Yeah. They're keeping the food warm. And like, I get it. I know. I've been out there cold, tired, wet. And you may just want to go to bed and eat a bag of chips or something, but really take the time to say thank you and connect with the people who are putting their time, money, and effort into being there to support a mission that we're supporting.
Yeah.
That covers it. Is that well said? Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Don't ignore the
really
people.
Good point. I mean,
what was that, Leo?
We're still building those relationships. This is the 5th running of Sandbox, so
we
don't have that established yet, but we're working on it. And I was thinking about, we're only 3 days, but there's almost too many stops to even name, with the fuel stops and the lunches and dinners and breakfast stops and places we go. That's a great point about the fuel stops. We do encounter a lot of people there. It's a spot for us to just take a break. I was thinking all we do is get gas, run to the bathroom, get hydrated, which is important, and then get back on the road. But in the middle of all that, we are meeting with a lot of people. We're just encountering even
Hmm.
cashiers and people who happen to be there. Get our ambassadors
Yep.
out early. We try to get them out to even the adjoining gas stations. So when people are there asking what's going on over there,
Right.
they can
Hmm.
kind of explain that, pass out pins. So we impact a lot of people, and
We do.
across all 4 routes, it is impressive.
And I'll say,
And
and
it's meaningful.
although all of the stops are expecting us, sometimes because it's May, some people may be traveling, and then we encounter truckers. Everyone is not expecting us. Everyone does not know we'll be there. Everyone's not always happy to see boots. They're not
It's true.
always happy to see hundreds of motorcycles taking up
I'm
90%
I'm
of the
just thinking
pumps.
about, yeah.
So
Well, it's not only that,
in the
we're
bathroom. So just
we
remember
when
how
we
we're
go down the
carrying
road.
ourselves, you know what I mean? And smiling at people and being, because they don't know who we are or who we're representing. And when they see Run for the Wall on our backs and our fronts and our bikes and our trailers, literally, we want to make a good impression.
Yeah, and what I was laughing about was I was thinking about last year. One of the road guards got pulled over in Arizona for blocking, holding traffic on an on ramp, and the police officer, who was well intended, came up to him and said, "What the hell are you doing?" He did not get the briefing. I don't know if he was on vacation or whatever,
Uh-huh.
but he did not get the briefing that we were coming through on that day and we were going to be doing what we do as road guards. And so that was an interesting thing. But he called his supervisor, and his supervisor said, "Oh yeah, they're
Like, they're
totally
coming. No.
they're allowed to do that.
But wait,
Please
question.
support
Did
them."
he
So
stick around to see what was happening? Do you know if he stuck
I
around
don't
to
know.
see?
I we're Leo, when we're road guarding, it's fast and
I
furious.
know.
You go from one threat to the next, and it's bam, 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 bam. So I don't have all the time to get all the
Yeah.
details on every little
I
situation that
just
happens. But
imagine him being like, why is this motorcycle? Because usually it's just one person there blocking the ramp. Why is this one motorcycle? He's dressed the way he is with flags and probably lights flashing, blocking
yep.
the ramp to the interstate.
Hmm.
Then he calls it in and it's like, oh, this is legit. Then you see hundreds of motorcycles coming through. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of times they don't even believe the road guard. Like there's not 300 motorcycles coming, and then they, of course they see it and their eyes get big and they realize you were here for a reason. So we
Well, and
appreciate it.
it's kind of funny. I don't we'll just talk road guard stuff for now because it's Leo's a road guard. I'm a road guard. Hitch maybe
I'm not a
someday.
road guard.
Not yet.
But
Would be a
we
career
road
cager at
guards,
this point, as long as I
yeah,
have the baby with me.
road guards go out ahead for a lot of the riders, who are run for the wall and FNGs. We go out ahead and we take care of traffic. We block on ramps and intersections and so forth, and we post up at gore points where freeways come together and split off
Mhm.
so that we can direct the pack appropriately. And there have been times when police, even local law enforcement, know we're coming, know what we're doing, and a road guard will post somewhere, and a police officer will come and chase him off and say, "Nope, you cannot do that here." So it's kind of tricky because we have some authority to do some things, and other things we push that a little bit to the limit, just in the interest of keeping the pack safe. So
And all right, since you kind of had the floor a little bit and you were talking there, Leo, this is the portion where we kind of jump in to you. Now, I know you've been a guest before, but you may be new to some people. You definitely have a new road name, but we still wanted
yeah.
to kind of go over some of the questions. So, refresh our memories on how you were introduced to Run for the Wall.
Well, yeah. I moved here to Las Vegas in '08. I retired from the Army, and started riding with the PGR, and it's just a natural link there. So some of those guys had ridden Run for the Wall, told me about it. I was immediately interested and didn't learn a lot about it back then. There weren't a lot of there weren't any podcasts, or maybe the RCs were published in newsletters. I don't know if I even found the website. I just heard about it, knew I was going to go down there and pack my stuff up, and took as much advice as I could from those
Hmm.
riders, and went down and rode Midway route the second year I think it was in existence back in 2015. Um, from there, the next year I was staging. I was going to try to ride a different route, but the staging team leader was right there at registration, and kind of pulled me in to be a stager that year. So that was great. Next year, I always knew I wanted to be a road guard, but it took me a while to get my equipment up, to get the training that Boots was talking about.
Hmm.
Um, so I was a new road guard in 2017. Started doing Leo liaison about 19 and then 22, and then I was the road guard captain in 23 to 25 for Midway.
And you mentioned
During
Leo,
that time,
Leo Liaison, which that used to be your road name. Leo was Leo,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it was the only road name that stuck. Um, that has changed this year. I've always had kind of a history with clutches since my F&G year. I popped a clutch cable right there in the hotel parking lot the day before kickstands up, and it was going to take 3 or 4 days to just get that cable in. I actually called a place down in Norco, No Pork Motorcycles. They didn't have the cable, but they had the same bike on the showroom floor, and he actually took the cable off of that bike and brought it to me.
Wow, that's
Right?
awesome.
So when we
Yeah,
talk
that was an
about
amazing experience.
communities supporting us and things of that nature, like this,
Yeah,
this is what we're talking about.
exactly. Yep. Wouldn't take a penny for it. I ordered a new part for his bike on the showroom floor, and I made it through the run with that clutch cable, and then it snapped again on the way home. So I had to order another one, spent some time in Ohio. And the last 2 years on Midway, my clutch is burned out about in the same spot as we start going up the hills into Tennessee. And I either went on the chase truck, or this year I was able to limp it up to Bristol, where we took the detour up to Bristol. And some of those guys from the American Legion Post 176 there in Springfield actually brought me my buddy's bike. Took my bike back to Springfield, and I rode his bike for the
So,
rest of Midway,
what
and then all
type
of
of bike
Sandbox.
do you have? Look at Boots.
Kawasaki Voyager, I know. I had the Vaquero version of it for 5 years. Rode it as
I
a road
thought you
guard.
were riding a Kawasaki.
I put 150,000 miles on that first one with no problems. But this one, the clutch went out. I think we went with an aftermarket clutch pack that year, and then the next year it just burned out. It was just exactly the time when it was due to burn out.
Wow.
So the upside is I've gotten to spend a lot of time in Springfield there at that American Legion Post 176, who hosts, all three cross country routes, our arrival, and then they host our departure that Sunday morning. So getting to spend time with those guys, I'd go eat breakfast or lunch with them every day while I was waiting for parts to come in, and they'd hassle me. But my buddy Freeberg was working, so I had his bike and his truck, and I'd go down there and eat with those guys, or we'd go for rides and go get ice cream somewhere out in the hills of Virginia somewhere. So I got to know them, got to know the facilities, and it's just that's an amazing place.
Well, so
So
now
it's
you'll be RC for Sandbox for
yeah, this year.
26. We
Yep.
don't need any mishaps with the bike, okay?
I know.
Are you
I
going to put a
know.
fresh clutch in before for the run?
I just got a brand new one back in Virginia this year. So, and that's an OEM clutch, so that I won't have any
Listen,
problems with that
All right.
anymore.
listen.
Just horror
Do you
stories now.
need to have one shipped to my house because I'm in
Probably
I'm,
just have one standing by
have one
just
on
in case.
standby. That way, before you take off, I mean, it'll be safe at my house because I live right here where you're taking off from. So,
There you
so
go.
just in
You
Yeah.
know,
case, I'm
I'm
serious.
I- I'm just sitting
Yeah.
here thinking about this. That you get a road name based on the bike troubles that you've had. I'm just glad that's not a tradition here at Run for the Wall, seeing as I've had so many problems with my transmission
I heard
the
that.
last year.
Yeah.
I don't need that road name.
That would be a tough one to explain. Yeah.
I've already got a vulgar patch on my vest that resulted from that incident. But anyways,
Oh man, I
we're all
love us.
good
I
here.
do. In case you were wondering, transmission is probably not the name that any of us were thinking about. No.
Probably
It's
not.
just it's a long word.
It is a
We'll
long
have to
word.
abbreviate
Yeah.
it.
Moving
Yeah.
on.
All right.
Moving on.
Oh man. Okay, so seriously, if you need to have something shipped to me in order to make sure you're prepared, anything to make sure you're ready to take off for Sandbox, let me know.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Whew. What's the next question? Mm-mm-mm.
I don't know.
Oh, I have one. Uh, a most memorable experience. I want to know about Midway and Sandbox, particularly
Wow,
Midway, since
right.
I'll be there.
I know we talked a lot about Midway on the last time I was on as the road guard captain for
Yep.
Midway. Um,
And I
I've been thinking
probably
about this
promised
too
to
because
come, huh?
it's.
When you were
I
on, I
think
was
that's when we
like,
talked you
oh,
into it.
we're
Yeah.
going to alternate routes. And Boots said that he would too, but then,
I will eventually, but I'm pretty well committed here on Central for this coming
I
year.
know, I know.
We do appreciate you coming down and riding with us. That's awesome to see you get the different experience, kind of get a feel for what Midway is. And you can tell us some Central Route stories, which are always good.
I'm excited. But yeah, so
Yeah. I tell people to
most memorable moments.
think my most memorable moment is a certain part of each day of each route that between Midway and Sandbox. But what I find is the evenings, once we're done with everything and everybody's settled in and relaxed, you have that sense of accomplishment. You're able to sit down and talk about the things that went
Hmm.
right, the things that went wrong that day, and then we talk about the plan for the next day. So those evenings, those times that we get to just sit in the parking lot or out in the hotel pool or something like that, and just have the fellowship and the
Yeah,
discussions. Um,
that's the exact
I
word
know
I was
every
going to
route
use.
does it.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I've asked other routes, and they tell me the same thing, and that's everybody enjoys it, I think. So that's it's one of my favorite parts of the route. Um,
I could see
you know,
that
the
because that's the only time where everything isn't like go, go, go. Because when that
yeah,
horn
yeah.
sounds, it's time to move.
It's all the rest of it almost is a blur sometimes. It happens
Hmm.
so fast. It takes a while to, so those evenings are useful to kind of get all that together, just to even take some notes to try to get better for the next year.
Yep.
Um,
What are you looking
yeah,
forward to
the other
most
aspects of it
for
are,
Sandbox this year? Is there like anything
just,
special on the horizon for Sandbox or anything that, you know?
yeah, the one thing that comes to mind every year we've started a tradition in Lafayette at Hunter's Moon. That evening when we get there, we do a Gold Star presentation. They have a big Gold Star community there.
Okay.
So that started, I think, with the recon where we went and laid a wreath with them and sort of established that relationship. And every year they nominate a Gold Star family for us to honor. We do a shadow box. We have a flag flown somewhere significant over an army installation, or this year it's going to be an army installation. And then we present that to the family. We talk about that hero who was killed in action. Normally,
Okay.
it's a it's a Gulf Middle East
Hmm.
conflicts soldier or sailor, Marine service person who paid that ultimate sacrifice. So we honor them, we remember them, we talk about them, and then the family can kind of tell their story. So those are meaningful. Those are really important events for us, and that's something I look forward to every year. But there's so many. We're only 3 days, but there's so many little moments that are amazing. Going to St. Clairsville, we stop there for dinner. The next morning we eat breakfast, and then we go down to the right down in the downtown area, park in the middle of the street. It's
Yeah, that is
Memorial Day
so
morning,
cool.
so
I love
yeah,
that.
so they do their entire Memorial Day service there, and sort of honor our presence there, and then we're able to honor their their recognition of Memorial Day.
I love what they do there in St. Clairsville. It
Yeah,
really was
it's a really
special.
neat
It's
experience.
yeah.
Yep,
If you haven't done that, if you've maybe done some of the other coast to coast routes, it's really worth doing Sandbox just for that experience alone. There's
exactly.
so much
That's
more
just
than
one of
that, but
many.
yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
it's really great. Also, I wanted to mention that part of the this Run for the Wall in 2026 is to commemorate the 35th anniversary of the Gulf War in Iraq and Kuwait, and that's really big. And Sandbox, the mission of Sandbox is really to go from the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C., to the Middle East Conflicts Memorial Wall in Marseilles, Illinois, to bridge that gap. And that's really a really huge part of it. But do we have anything special in the works to commemorate that 35th anniversary on Sandbox?
We're gonna we're gonna try to honor our Gulf War veterans in some way. We're still working on a plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that'll just sort of be our focus. It's already the focus for the entire run.
Mm-hmm.
With the merchandise and some of the graphics that we have out right now.
Yeah, I noticed like again in the Run for the Wall store, I was poking around there the other day and looking at some of the stuff, and even the 2026 shirt is all about the 35th anniversary of Gulf War. So that's kind of cool.
Super cool F&G patch this year, or F&G pin.
Oh yeah, it really
Yeah.
is. I love what they did there. So there's an FNG patch, and then there's also a Gulf War 35th anniversary with the ribbons on the patch itself. And again,
Available
that's
on the
all on
website.
the
Yeah.
yep, it's all on the Run for the Wall store, and you can get there by going to rftw.us and then clicking on the shop button on the top navigation. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff there.
Definitely.
And also like on Sandbox this year, are there any big changes that you're anticipating?
We're not. We've added some outreaches. We're looking for opportunities to get outreach out there and maybe expand on uh on our sort of our footprint or the number of people we can reach out to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but we're so slammed with time. Every day is long, and it's early mornings, late evenings. There's
Yep.
not much opportunity to add anything in there. Trying to modify it just to where it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Get everybody in at a decent time and still do the things that we need to do.
Yep.
Um, um,
Let's see
yeah,
here.
yeah, that's about it. We'll just continue to operate. We've it's gone so well in the past. I think with our leaders coming back on the same positions, basically,
Hmm.
and the way it ran last year with Cobb, I've told them, I just don't really. We're going to change a few things and try to improve on a few things, but I'd like to run it just like Cobb did last year, and I know it'll be successful.
No, with this
Yeah.
route being so, I mean, not like super different, but just 3 days versus 10, and formerly 11 for Midway. We generally ask about advice for all writers or FNGs. Is your advice any different for people doing Sandbox than it is for all writers? Like with the significance of the.
Really not. A lot of our FNGs are already going to be FNGs on cross country routes, and we won't consider them actual FNGs because you're only an FNG once.
Mhm.
Once you ride one leg on any route, you're no
Yep.
longer officially an FNG. We're going to still try to focus on the people who kind of need that, but we only had 48 true FNGs last year
Okay.
who had never ridden a leg on Run for the Wall ever. So that was their very
You
first
said only
experience.
48.
Yes,
It's a lot. You know that's a lot,
yeah,
right? I don't know how you said
I know.
he
I
said
mean, we
only
had
48.
300 and yeah, I think the cross country routes have upwards of 100 though.
They can.
For yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, but
So last
48
year
is
we
nothing to
were
scoff at for people who are just
no,
stepping
it's a
on who
lot.
did not
It's a
go
lot.
coast to coast.
Yeah, yeah, it is. The F&G coordinator position is official now, so we're lucky to have Bernadette Staples, who is the F&G coordinator for Central Route also. So
Mm-hmm.
she's been doing it.
Mhm.
She's pretty much developed that program,
Mhm.
right? She's got it in position where it makes sense. Um, it's going to provide, I think, the best opportunity for our F&Gs to get as much information as possible. The platoon leaders are still in charge of them, but the platoon leaders are sometimes they're more focused on the execution of the mission.
Mhm.
So it gives those F&Gs, a chance to have like a second person, a second set of ears to listen to talk to them about, things they might not want to bring up to their platoon leader. Um, I look at it almost like a military chaplain. Like one of the roles the chaplain might have would be to go talk to new soldiers, and just see how things are going. How's your chain of command treating you, and anything you need that maybe they can't provide. So
Yeah.
she'll have a lot of good information. We try to build that good F&G community, but yeah, the advice. I watched Snake Charmer's episode, and his advice uh, for getting ready was probably some of the best I've heard, and how to sort of mentally prepare and physically prepare yourself to relax when you're riding, things like that. That was really good information.
Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about the details of the sandbox route. Just to focus in, like it's so different from the traditional coast to coast routes because sandbox is only 3 days. The first day goes from Arlington, Virginia. We leave from the host hotel there. Actually, it's Springfield, not Arlington. Springfield, Virginia, to St. Clairsville, Ohio. It's about 300 miles. And also during that day is a stop at the Flight 93 National Memorial in Pennsylvania, which is incredible. So, if you're thinking about doing Run for the Wall and you may not be able to take the full 10 days to do a coast to coast, this 3-day route has a lot to offer and a lot packed into the 3 days. Day 2 goes from St. Clairsville, Ohio to Lafayette, Indiana. There's lots of stops along the way. I'm trying to think on that day. I know that it ends at Hunter's Moon, Harley Davidson, and Lafayette, Indiana. But that's, another 359 miles, pretty full day of riding. There's VFW stop at post 5434. Great riding through the countryside there. And then the last day of the ride takes you from Lafayette, Indiana to Marseilles, Illinois. There's a stop at the Indiana Veterans Home. The last day is only 164 miles, so it's a bit of a short day, and you get to the Middle East Conflicts Memorial Wall, and you have time to really be at the wall. There's a closing ceremony mission accomplished, and then time to just spend time there. It's really quite it's quite a memorial there, right on the river, and lots of names on the wall. I know Hitch, you know some people on the wall there.
I do.
It's a great ride. Anything
Yeah,
you want to
yeah.
add to that? Go ahead.
Each one of those stops is, yeah, they're all meaningful. They're all interesting, and they're all great to attend. The Indiana Veterans Home, I don't know if the other routes do, but we take the whole route there. We don't just do an outreach to this Veterans Home. We
Mhm.
take everybody, and everybody gets a chance to go in and talk to the residents. Um, and I know it's an amazing experience for our riders. It's a great experience for the residents there. And it's something they look forward to every year.
Yeah, it's really good. It's just an awesome experience.
That's one of my favorite things. Let's see. Do we have any more questions for Clutch?
I don't know, Clutch. Got anything else to add in here on coming up for Sandbox?
I'm super excited to do this. I'm probably a little bit terrified, but it's just an extreme honor. Uh,
Not terrified.
just a little bit now.
You got such a good team, you know.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
I know
it's
a
an
lot of the
amazing
guys
group.
who are behind you. You know, Cobb is your mentor, and he did such a
Yeah,
great job last year. And you got Ed Brundage, who's going to be on that route. Your road guard captain, Cyborg. I mean, it's going to be great.
Yeah, I've got all three. The other RCs are on Sandbox in
Oh,
different
nice.
capacities. So yeah, yeah. So I mean, I've got several former RCs. So I've got mentors everywhere if I need help. Each one of those team leaders is coming back in the same position, and they're all experienced. They all ride pretty good group of different cross country routes. So people used to say that was our weakness is we'd never come together and we'd never get all three routes squared away with one purpose or one mission for Sandbox. But we realized last year it's sort of a strength. We do have a lot of good information and a lot of good experience from all three routes. And
Mhm.
we don't discriminate, I guess, on which is, my way or your way, or it's just what's best for Sandbox, what works best for this route.
Right.
Yep.
And it's really come together. It's watching these teams work together and work amongst themselves, and the camaraderie that we've developed it's been really an interesting and great experience to be part of.
And on. Great.
Thanks, Clutch. All right, so that brings us to Tech Tips with Ted.
That's right. Tech Tips with Ted. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about what you can do to get prepared for Run for the Wall. Also, if you've already been on Run for the Wall, maybe you're a platoon leader, assistant platoon leader, tail gunner, riding in fuel, staging. Most of the road guards pretty much have this down, because if you don't have this down, you're probably not a road guard. But I wanted to talk about throttle control and downshifting. So, in on Run for the Wall, we ride side by side and tight, although in the last few years, we have more and more platoons that are running staggered. And in fact, I believe we're going to all be running staggered this coming year. No, there's some new regulations regarding the spacing between riders, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to just talk about practicing throttle control so that you can ride in a group safely. And that's really comes down to that right hand and just making very, very small movements to accelerate and decelerate. And remember, when you're riding in a pack, you never want to go full gas. You never want to just chop that throttle off. You want to really be smooth to minimize the rubber banding of the pack. So throttle control is really key, and that's something that you could practice every day. In fact, you can practice this when you're driving your car, which I call your four-wheel practice motorcycle. But yeah, just practice that real easy on the gas, real easy off the gas, and make sure that you're super smooth at all times. Also, when we're running in a pack, we prefer that instead of just reaching forward and hitting the brakes, you downshift, because it keeps that pack tighter. It doesn't panic riders with brake lights. And so downshifting is another thing that you can practice. And sometimes when you're running in a pack, you have to aggressively downshift. And this is something that you can practice. Again, I suggest going in a parking lot, wearing all of your safety gear, helmet, boots, gloves, jacket, good pants, and practice that downshifting. And I can tell you this, every motorcycle is a little bit different. Like Leo's Kawasaki is going to be different than my Harley Davidson. Or it's going to be different than like Rich Boy's Goldwing, which is a DCT. That means it has no clutch lever, but you can still downshift a Goldwing or a BMW that has no clutch lever. It has paddle shifters. So get to know how to do that. It's not something that you generally do in everyday riding, that aggressive downshifting. But again, go in a parking lot and downshift down into first gear and get to know how the bike feels when you're doing that. And you should be easing the clutch out so that you're not locking up the rear tire. Some of the newer bikes, I know I have a brand new Harley Davidson Pan America ST. It has electronics that keep that back end from locking up, and slipper clutch and things like that. But you want to be as smooth as possible to not lean on the electronics so that you can safely downshift aggressively and haul that bike down. And I can tell you this, I can haul my big 1,000-pound Harley Davidson Ultra Limited down to darn near a stop from sixth gear at 70 miles an hour, going down through the gears and not even using the brakes. It can be done. You got to be aggressive about it. And yeah, every once in a while, there's a casualty, a transmission or a clutch. Doesn't happen often. My transmission failure was just due to an old transmission and a super powerful engine. because that's a bad combination. But yeah, get out there, practice throttle control, practice your downshifting, and come out and join us on Run for the Wall and have some fun.
Thank you for Tech Tips with Ted. All right, now you mentioned that we did have a listener letter for today. Who's our letter from? You had an email, did we?
No,
We
I don't
didn't?
think we did.
Oh, I thought you checked it and said that we had one. I was like, ooh.
Maybe we did. I don't know. But if we did, I didn't put it in my notes, so we're not.
Well, we'll check. Sorry if you wrote to us. We will get it in for next episode. We'll put it
But
on
I
the
do want to
docket.
mention this. I have still a whole bunch of trifold brochures.
Mhm.
So
I got
if
mine,
you
by the
want,
way, thanks.
oh, good, you're welcome. So if you want me to send you some trifold brochures that you could take out to your hog meeting or Honda dealership or BMW dealership or Indian dealership or Kawasaki dealership or VFWs, whatever, Kiwanis Club, Rotary, let me know. Hit me up. Send an email to pod@rftw.us. That's pod@rftw.us. Send me your address and how many brochures you want, and I'll mail them out to you.
Perfection. What was I gonna say? We are recording this on Friday, November 14th. I am going to do my best to get it out today because I don't want you all to think that we didn't notice we missed when we were supposed to post our last episode. So
been a little busy.
Just a little bit. His agenda, But because it's Friday, one of our customs and traditions, we were red on Friday. So if you are watching this, you see that Boots, Clutch, and we're all rocking our red. And so that just for us means remember everyone deployed. But if you all don't have anything else to add, that brings us to the end of our episode today. Nothing else to add? Okay.
We're good.
Well, thank you all for joining us for another episode. Again, if you have questions, please send them to us at pod@rftw.us. Make sure you're sharing your experiences with us. If you'd like to join us on the podcast, write to us and let us know what you'd like to come on and talk to us about so we can get you scheduled. And yeah, I think that does it, right?
That does
All
it.
right,
So until next time.
Hey, I was about to do that. I just wanted to make sure that we were ready. Plus, I was cueing my music.
Okay.
So until next time, how far are we going?
All the way.
All the way.
That's not even the right song. See, you messed me up.
That's all good.
I know. We like to play. We like to play the Run for the Wall song at the end of the episodes. But all right, it's still not playing the right song. Huh. Interesting. Don't even worry about it. If you want to hear the song, you can go to the website and download it. All right, y'all. Till next time.
Sounds good.
Bye.
Thank y'all.